Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be filming a video that I had already filmed and I erased it. I don't know what I was thinking, but I erased the entire video. So I am just going to go ahead and refilm it today. And then I'm going to tell you about the products as I go. The original video was a first impressions video. So today won't be first impressions, but I'll be able to give you a little bit more information on each product. So before we get into that, if you're new here, I would love for you to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll know when I put out a new video. And if you like these type of videos, give this one a thumbs up. It really helps my channel. So now that I've said all that, let's go ahead and get into applying this makeup. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put on some of this CeraVe healing ointment. I purchased this because I heard that it's really good for dry, chapped lips, and I've been using it and I really do love it for that. I just put a little bit on my finger and then run it over my lips. I think this ointment is more for like healing like really dry skin, but I've been using it for my lips and it really does make my lips feel nourished and soft. It usually comes in a big package, but they had a duo of these little ones. So I went ahead and purchased the package of the duo because I really felt like this would be perfect to put in my purse or to put one in my car. So yeah, I've really been loving this. So let's go ahead and get started with the primer. I did use this NYX Plump Right Back Primer. This is supposed to be like a plumping primer that has electrolytes in it, and that's pretty much why I bought it, because I know electrolytes are supposed to like rehydrate, and I really feel like this goes on kind of like a gel. It doesn't have that silicone feeling. It does look like it may be silicone-y, but it's not. It feels really good on the skin. I also like that once it starts to dry down, it does have a slight bit of tackiness to it. So I will say that it is a good product. It did hold my makeup together and it made my skin look a little bit more hydrated when I used it. But this is what the product looks like. Do you see that? It does look like silicone, but it doesn't feel like it. It's more like a gel, kind of like a hydrating gel moisturizer. That's what it feels like. So I did like this product. I really felt like it worked for my skin. I'm gonna go ahead and use my e.l.f. Matte Putty Primer for the center of my face. You guys know this is not a new product to me. This is just something I love to mattify and smooth my pores. So I did try this Super Base Revolution Eye Primer. I really like the way this looked on the eye. It also made my shadows pop, which I really loved. Now initially when I put it on, I actually dotted it on my eyelid, but I'm not gonna do that today because I found when I did that, it just looked really like stark white, very thick. So I'm going to put a little bit on the back of my hand because I really feel like a little bit goes a long way. And so I'm gonna use just a tad bit and I'm just putting it on a brush and I'm going to place that on my eyelid. When I put it directly on my eye, it just looks so thick. It blended well, but it took like forever to blend it in. And I feel like this way it spreads evenly and it spreads a lot easier. It doesn't look crazy, but I really do love this eye primer, guys. It really made my shadows pop the day I wore it and the day that I filmed that video. Now I have two palettes here. I didn't use both of them, but I did use this one, but I am gonna use both of these today. This is what I got from Ulta, the Star Wars theme palettes by Colourpop. I love both of these palettes, guys. They're so good. This one right here is probably my favorite. Those are the shades right there. Really beautiful, like neutral and cool tone shades. So yeah, I'm going to use this one. I'm also going to use the Child palette, which I love as well. And I was really hesitant in getting the Child palette because I looked online and it didn't really wow me. So when I saw this in store, I really fell in love with it. So I really do like the shades in here and I'm going to be using both of these today. So I'm going to go ahead and apply the shadows, but I'm going to list the names here, you know, just to save me some time. But I'm gonna start with this shade right here. And this is out of the Child palette. I'm just gonna use this Sonia Kashuk crease brush. And I'm gonna take that on the crease. I also found with this primer that you really don't have to set it if you don't want to. I normally set my primers, but I found with this one that you could do it either way. It works pretty much the same. I didn't set it today because I wanted to show you guys that it does work very well without setting it. I'm just putting this as a transition shade. Then I'm gonna go in with this darker shade, and this is from the other palette. This is called the Mandalorian Palette. I think that's the name of it because the other one's the Child. I'm gonna use this shade right here. I'm just gonna deepen that crease a little bit. The shade's a little bit darker than the other one. And I got this mirror too, guys. Isn't that cute? I'm gonna go in with this Colourpop E23 brush, and I'm gonna go into this shade here. This is from the Child palette, and I'm just going to deepen up the crease a little bit more with that shadow and then kind of bring it over. Now I'm going to go into this shade from the Mandalorian palette, and I'm using that same brush. I'm just going to place that on the outer corner. This one is kind of duochromed in that it looks like it's green, but it comes off like a little bit brown too. So I'm going to use this shade right here, and this is from the Child palette. I'm just putting that right on the inner corner. And I'm bringing it into the other shade, the duochrome shade. I'm going to take the crease brush that I was using, and I'm just going to clean up the edges. I'm going to use this shade from the Mandalorian palette. I'm just going to deepen up just that corner. I'm not putting too much on there. I just want to deepen it up a little bit. This is kind of like a green gray shade. I'm going to go over it with this shade because I want it a little bit deeper, and it's really not that deep. It blends in beautifully, but I want it a little bit deeper. And then I'm going to take this same little brush. I'm going to go back into this shade here because I kind of took some of that off. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of pack that on right here. Right on the edge. That's gonna do for those two palettes. I'm gonna go ahead and go into foundation. So for foundation today, I'm gonna go in with these two foundations by Dose of Colors. I have the shade 123 and 120, but 120 is a little bit too light, so I mix a little bit of 123 in there. And I'm also gonna be using this new brush that I got from Sephora. It's the Sephora 70 brush. Guys, this is an amazing full coverage brush. I used it that one time to film that video, and I absolutely fell in love with it. Now they do have a smaller one that's more of a travel size, and I do plan on getting that one because I really feel like when and if I do go out of town, I don't want to take a big brush. I'd rather take a smaller one, and it looks just like this at the top. It's just got a shorter handle. So if you guys are looking for a really good full coverage foundation brush, I would definitely check this one out by Sephora. I think it blends beautifully. It doesn't streak. I'm going to just press that into my skin. I was gonna tell you guys, I tried the Kimchi concealer, the orange one. I did it just like the person at Camera Ready Cosmetics told me to do it, and it did not work. I just feel like my Tarte Shape Tape does a better job of, you know, covering what I need to be covered. So yeah, I'm just gonna stick with what I know. You know, that old saying, if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. That's exactly how I feel. But do you see the coverage this gives me? It's so beautiful. It's packed really densely, but it doesn't feel like too dense, you know? It really like blends that product into the skin like seamlessly. So don't be fooled by the fact that it looks like so compacted, because it does a great job. And I just press it into the skin. I feel like pressing it really gives me that coverage that I need. I did try a new concealer that I'm really liking, and it's the NYX Bare With Me Concealer Serum. This is in the shade medium, and this goes on so smoothly under the eyes. It's also very hydrating, but it's not so emollient that it moves around. I initially tried this with a brush, but I did not like the way it went on with the brush. I really love the way it applies with a sponge. So I'm gonna use my sponge today, and I'm just pressing it on the under eyes, and it just does a good job of just smoothing out that under eye and also covering up like dark circles. I know a lot of people probably would say this is not a full coverage concealer, but I feel like just the way it goes on with this sponge, it is like covering like those dark circles that I have right here. So I do feel like it's an almost full coverage. I don't think it's completely full coverage. It doesn't have like a thick consistency where it would make you feel like it's full coverage, but it does have beautiful coverage. You see, it just looks really smooth under the eye. I'm gonna go ahead and add my Tarte Shape Tape. Then I'm gonna go off camera. I'm gonna do my eyebrows and then we will finish up with the eyes and the other products that I want to show you guys. I'll be back in a bit. So I do want to let you guys know that I use my RCMA powders for my face. I use Topaz on my face and Amethyst under my eyes to set that concealer. So that day I tried the Jaclyn Hill bronzer, and it's a cream bronzer. And I tried it in the shade Beachy, and it was way too light. It did not show up at all. So I ended up giving it to my younger daughter because she has a lighter skin tone than I do. So that's gonna work perfectly for her. So today what I'm gonna do is go in with my Anastasia cream bronzer in Caramel. I love the shade of this bronzer because it's like very like golden. It's a little bit neutralizing as well. As you can see, I've been using it. There's like a dent in it. I'm just gonna use a brush, and I'm going to just press it into the cream bronzer. I like to tap it on the back of my hand just to take off the excess, and then I'm just going to press it onto the skin. This is just a beautiful golden type bronzer. It's really gorgeous on the skin. I want to try the cream bronzer from Jaclyn Hill again, but I have to make sure that I find a shade that I like. Sometimes these cream bronzers are made like so ashy, they just don't come off really well on the skin or like on my skin tone. It just looks gray. It looks horrible. She's got quite a few shades out, so hopefully I can find one that I like. So that day I tried the Rare Beauty blushes, the liquid blushes. I had one that was a new one called Believe, but I didn't really like the formula as much as I like the Danessa Myricks. I felt like it was a good blush. I just feel like for my more mature skin that it just didn't blend in like I wanted it to. So I ended up taking it back. But today I'm going to use another blush, one that I've been loving, and that's the Undone Lip to Cheek blush. This one is in the shade Rosewood. I do love this blush, and I think it looks really beautiful on the skin. My Danessa Myricks liquid blush is like one of my favorites. That formula is insanely good. They are my favorite liquid blushes, although I do love this blush. This Undone blush is just gorgeous on the skin. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and use some of my RCMA powder to kind of tone the blush down in the bronzer. Just kind of make it look softer. Let's go ahead and finish up the lower lash line. I'm gonna go through this really quickly, so I'll just list the names here of what I'm using. So for lips, I used these Jaclyn Hill lip pencils. I've got two here. I've got Butter Pecan and I've got Hot Tea. I love them both. I think they're really creamy. They last like all day. I didn't have any issues with my lip liner coming off. So yeah, I'm gonna look into another shade that I wanted that day, but they didn't have it. They pretty much sold out of it. So for today, I am gonna go in with Butter Pecan. That day I went in with Hot Tea, but I'm gonna go in with Butter Pecan today. I'm gonna use this lipstick by Huda Beauty, and it's in Angel. These are some of my favorite lipsticks. They're just so good. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is go in with highlighter. I did end up loving the Jaclyn Hill highlighter in Mesmerize. It's this really beautiful, like peachy shade. So I'm going to grab a brush and place that on my cheeks. It's not glittery, which I love, and it's just got this beautiful sheen to it. Isn't that beautiful? With this, it's more of like a golden peach, but it's still gorgeous. Putting a little bit on my forehead, over my lip, put a little bit on my nose, not too much. I do want to put some gloss on. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this NYX Butter Gloss on. This is in Fortune Cookie. Right in the center. And then I used an Ofra spray. That spray like drenched my face. I did not like it. I didn't like the way it set my makeup. It just looked really wet, and I really didn't like the product and how it felt on my skin. So I'm gonna go in with one that I do love and I have loved for a long time, and I bought a new bottle of it here recently, and it's the Makeup Finishing Spray, the bridal version. This one makes your makeup stay on all day, and it just gives a beautiful finish. So I am gonna spray this all over. All right guys, so I put these earrings on. I have nowhere to go, but I wanted to put some fun earrings on. So I wanted to let you guys know about all these good products. I liked every single one of the ones that I used today. Now, the ones that I did not end up liking, I ended up taking back, and I've showed you all of them throughout the video. One more item that I want to mention that I didn't really use that day, but I had used and I didn't really like it, was the new Huda Beauty Glow Wish powder. I put that powder on and I felt like I was a disco ball. It looked like I had like sprayed some type of metallic product on my face. So I really did not like that powder, but I did want to mention it to you guys because I have tried it and I wanted to let you know that it didn't work out. So anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Take care, and we will see you guys on the next video. Bye.